Let's go ahead and start right about now. My name is Myles Farrington. I'm here with my two co-hosts,
Adam Leonard.
And Jordan Loeffler.
and we're here to bring you MONG Podcast, episode 139, Should I Stay or Should I Go? Uh, Now we're going to go ahead and jump into the usual part. We start off with Editor-in-Chief. What are the site highlights for the week?
We've got Darius Purse's editorial on 3 games under $30, 2016 version for PlayStation 4. These are exclusive games for PlayStation 4 that are under $30. Very good games on this list. We got Ratchet and Clank, Alien Nation, and Gravity Rush Remastered. You should go ahead and check that out if you'd like to hear a little bit more about those games. We've got Riley Berry's Deus Ex Mankind Divided review. He has some pretty good things to say about the game. He gave it an 8.0 out of 10. And we've got Brotherhood Final Fantasy 15 series review. That's the Final Fantasy 15 anime. That's supposed to be kind of like the a character development piece for Final Fantasy 15. And Chris thought it was also pretty good. He gave it an 8.0 out of 10. And that is it, besides all of the plethora of news that we've got on the site.
Cool. Sounds good. As per usual, if you would like to write with MONG, or if you'd like to make video content or stream or whatever you like to do, you can find a link to our applications at the bottom of this podcast or video, wherever you're watching or consuming this content. It'll send you to the application. It's not hard to fill out. I did it, therefore it can't be that difficult. And we'll, tell us what you want to do with us, and we'll see if we can find a place for you. So yeah, there's that. We're a great team. We're all cool people. Everyone, do a big smile. All right, good enough. All right, and moving on from that, I don't think that's right. Is that right? I think this is my 100th episode. I think it's this one.
I think that's correct. Yes.
Okay. Hey, I've been here for 100 episodes. You've been looking at the space for...
Myles!
Yeah.
So I'm kind of surprised, but I guess maybe I don't know my Mong history, but I thought you started with the podcast right at the very beginning.
Nope. I got in, I guess, episode 100. It's not like an even 100 episodes. There were a few that I wasn't there for. So I got in a little bit late in the game, but yeah. I've been here. I'm the longest lasting cast member at this point.
So it was just like Lou and Courtney in the early days?
It was Lou, Courtney, and they had some other people, I think they had like a rotating third chair, and because the person they started with was kind of like, they had an interview with someone and he was like extremely rude to them, so they just kind of like got rid of him, and yeah, they told me about that. That was funny to hear. So yeah, they had like a rotating third chair pretty much.
What episode did we start on, Jordan? Do you remember?
It was either late 80s or early 90s, I want to say.
Okay.
There you go.
Does that sound right, Myles?
I don't know. I didn't even realize it was my 100th episode. I was like, I was making a playlist on my YouTube page that links to Mong's the Mong podcast, because I was like, this is part of my resume, so I should probably have it on here. And God, I need to open up this screen. There we go. So I was doing that, and I was like, kept having to add videos because it was the slowest process ever. And I was just sitting there like, this is like 100 videos. I've been here 100 episodes. I didn't even realize it. So yeah, there you go, folks. That's roughly 100 plus weeks. But yeah, anyway, that's that for that. What's been going on in y'all's weeks? Adam, go ahead and start off. What's up, buddy?
Not too much. Just been continuing to play Deus Ex.
Nice.
Still don't know what that AUG thing I stole did. Like, it's just really delayed in the story now.
You'll figure it out eventually, I'm sure.
But it's really cool. Like I said, it's fun because it's like kind of open worldy, lots of different ways to do things. And yeah, I guess I'm not in. I can't say that I'm like fully in love with it, but it's occupying my time nicely.
Good. That's all we can ask of our video games.
Sitting here really bitter that there's people over the world playing Persona 5 and I'm not one of them.
Dude, all you have to do is learn how to speak Japanese and then import it. I know a little bit of Japanese. I can say some really vulgar, rude things to you in Japanese. All right, but yeah, you got something to be excited for, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan, what are you doing beyond torturing yourself in a certain Metal Gear?
Well, I have been living vicariously through my friend who is playing Persona 5 right now.
Hmm.
She is loving it. She's never played through an entire Persona game before, and so this is kind of like new to her.
Mm-hmm.
But when I told her that it was coming out in Japan, and she has a Japanese PlayStation account, I told her it was coming out this past week, and she like got super excited and right away downloaded it. And so yeah, I've been just kind of like every day asking her, "So did you play anymore? Like, what's it like? Tell me, I want to know." But apparently Morgana, the little black cat in it, is amazing.
Spoilers. Okay.
Just that she's apparently amazing. I'm not going to say anything else about it.
I didn't know Morgana was a she.
You live in Portland. You are like hour and a half away from me, so you inadvertently spoil anything.
He'll hunt you down.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to say anything else. But and I honestly don't know that much more. But no, she's really liking that, so I'm happy for her. She keeps like asking me if like I'm starting to hate her out of envy, and like, no, not yet, not quite yet.
Jesus.
But so there's that, and as Myles mentioned, I am trying to get the platinum for Metal Gear Solid 5. I've been streaming it on Twitch, which you can kind of see me in it like randomly doing throughout the week. I'll probably be doing that until I get to the end. But I got a few more side ops to go, and then I actually start diving into the difficult thing of like getting S ranks and like doing all the side objectives for each mission, which will be very time consuming, but that's what I'm going in there for. So.
Well, if it's worth it to you, there you go.
I'm having fun with it. I mean, I'm also like listening to all the cassettes that I completely ignored. Like, there's a bunch of behind-the-scenes story content that you don't get unless you listen to the actual like audio recording stuff. And I've been playing through those as I'm just doing like the mindless side missions and kind of getting a better feel for the story that I had missed the first time through.
Gotcha.
Quick update real quick, because I just did the work on it. Jordan, we started on episode 86, so while we did not say this, a couple episodes ago we hit our 50th episode, so...
Hey! Yeah, I looked up that too. Yeah, episode 86. It was Return to the Podcast, I think.
Yep. Well, congratulations, you two.
Yay! Not quite 100. Not quite.
I mean, at least you're here. That's what matters.
We look up to you.
What I've been doing this week is Rise of Iron comes out on Monday, so I've been pretty much getting all my eggs in a basket, or was it ducks in a row, making sure I can pretty much just no life it for a little while, just so I can play as much of it as I want to, and hopefully, have a good week where I don't have to worry about anything and just sit in front of the PS4 and just be like, this is a lovely escape from everything. And then beyond that, I was playing something. I played No Time to Explain. I tried that yesterday, and I feel like I played something on my PS4, but I don't remember. But yeah, No Time to Explain was interesting. Have either of you tried it out?
What isn't?
It was a Steam game that I definitely never bought, but it was just in my Steam collection. Like, I never bought it because I didn't know what it was, and I just looked at my collection one day and it was there, and I was like, oh, is it like free for a weekend? And I looked and it's like, nope, it's just there. It's just a game I own for some reason, and I've never bought a Humble Bundle or anything, so that definitely wasn't why. But it's a game where essentially like you're going through levels, and I guess it's kind of like a platformer, but you use your gun to do like the platforming, if you will. I didn't get very far, but the first gun you get is like this constant laser beam, and pretty much whatever direction you shoot it, it like propels you in the opposite direction. And then there's different physics that work with that. Like if you're in water, it'll propel you faster and it'll keep shooting you like in that direction. Whereas if you're just in open air, it'll like give you a boost, and it'll get you pretty high, but then it'll just like I guess the potential wears off and you'll just get stuck floating whatever height you're at. And it was interesting, like traversing maps and puzzles doing that, and it was a pain in the ass in certain situations, honestly, because trying to fall and then direct yourself through a bevy of spikes and stuff, trying to do that with that gun, and it's I couldn't use my controller, so I was using mouse and keyboard, and that was just like this is really difficult. And then the other one was like a shotgun that just like it just blasts you away, and that one was easier to use just because like click once and just so it was like a jetpack kind of.
Interesting.
They're both like different kinds of jetpacks, I guess is a good way to put it. And I fought one boss. He was like a giant crab that had killed the future me that came back in time to warn me about something, but he didn't have time to explain. And then like a crab claw burst through the wall and grabbed him. And like pretty much the whole way through the levels, it's very funny. It's kind of like got that got that kind of like Castle Crashers and whatever the other game was. Oh my god, Battle Block Theater kind of feel, where like throughout all the levels at the beginning of each one, your like future self is like it's either in a claw or a shark mouth. Those are the two I saw. And he's like bleeding profusely, and it's like a funny art style. It looks a lot like Alien Hominid, and it's just like bleeding profusely. And he just screams random things, like I didn't even know I had this much blood, or what kind of monster is this? Why have I been here so long, etc., etc. So it's funny, it's interesting. It's not for me, but it's definitely something I could see people enjoying. There you go.
Cool. So, backtracking a little bit, I'm curious now. Like, what is the content drop for Rise of Iron?
In like, you mean just like what's coming out in it?
Yeah. What's going to be in it? Like, how big of a drop is it?
It's like somewhere between Taken King and what is it? House of Wolves, I think. It's bigger than House of Wolves, but not as big as Taken King. There's a new area, there's a new PvE event, there's a new raid. There's of course the thing I really want is all the new gear, new weapons. There's no new subclasses or anything like that. There's a new maximum light level, new enemies, new story missions. I think there's like 5 story missions, but then there's just a butt ton of quests outside of that. So
Sure.
It's not as big as Taken King. So that's just one thing they've been like emphasizing. They're like, it's not as big as that, but we're gonna. And I know some of the streamers I was watching, they expected it to last for a good solid. Was it? You said November, so like a good like month and a half, 2 months, and it seems like Bungie's kind of doubling down on their live team support. And that's the team that like pushes out events like SRL and Rise of Iron, or not Rise of Iron, Iron Banner, and so like that there won't be that big drought that we got this year when Taken King came out a year ago, and that was all we had pretty much. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm extremely excited. I'm gonna be up at 4:30 a.m. to play it. So
it's gonna be poop socking it for a week.
Well, no, I'm still gonna go out to the gym because that's just an hour every day, and then beyond that, yeah, I'm pretty much gonna be like, if it's not getting food or something, I'm not gonna be leaving my room. Let's be honest. But okay, speaking of not leaving your room unless you're getting food, it's time for
news from nowhere.
You heard it from the mouth of Michael Goff himself. I hope I didn't say golf wrong. But anyway, the first story we are covering today is I wasn't joking. And I was not joking about something that I kind of wish I were joking about. But it happened earlier this week, so I'm pretty sure everyone probably knows about it at this point. But The Last Guardian is delayed until December. A delay is a difficult decision, particularly with this game, was a quote from, I think, Shuhei Yoshida? Yes. Okay, so Last Guardian has been delayed once again and will now release on December 6th in the US, December 7th in Europe, and December 8th in the UK and Ireland. Writing on the PlayStation blog, president of SCE Worldwide Studios, Shuhei Yoshida, explained the reasoning for the delay as so. A delay is difficult. It is a difficult decision, particularly with this game, writes Yoshida. But we have encountered more bugs than anticipated while in the final stages of development. To ensure that The Last Guardian delivers on the experience that the gamers create. that the game's creators have envisioned. We need to take the extra time to work on those issues. That name. Fumito Ueda, Jin Design and Japan Studio, have a wonderful vision for The Last Guardian's touching, emotional journey of friendship and trust. And we want to deliver the most polished experience possible for our fans who have supported us for so long. The Last Guardian was originally slated for a release on October 25th in 2016. So, it's supposed to be in a couple weeks or something. A month, yeah, pretty much. And was named as one of IGN's top 39 big games come out of the remainder of 2016. So yeah, that was a delay that happened. If you don't know the story of this game, it has been in development hell for, what did I say? I think it's like 9 years at this point, because it was in development for like 2 years before they announced it, and then they announced it was supposed to come out on the PS3 and has yet to actually hit shelves. So I called it. I was joking, but I called it. I was happy to never have to talk about that game again once the zeitgeist was tired of it, and it had its, like all games come out and they get like 2 weeks of fame or torture. I was like happy to not have to talk about it anymore, but god darn
it. Yeah, I mean, it's comical at this point. Like, just hearing anything about delays in general this year are ridiculous. But this game in particular looks kind of, I don't know. It's just kind of funny to hear that it's gotten delayed again. I turned to a friend the other day and I was just like, "Yep, got delayed." And they're like, "Oh my god!" And like, there's nothing else to say. It's just okay. It comes out when it comes out. There's like, it is what it is.
Yeah. I put up a video on my own YouTube channel about this, and I was just like, they're in the worst spot you could possibly be for a video game release, where it's been so long that it's too long. It's been too long for them to cancel it. Like, they can't just kill it at this point, because then fans will be in uproar. And when they release it, there's no way in hell it's gonna meet expectations, and fans are gonna be in uproar. And even if it dodges not meeting expectations, it's just gonna be like, it can't win right now, and that's my opinion. I was reading I was watching videos about reports that apparently people who have been playing it weren't really happy with it. Apparently, controlling the dog thing is actually a chore, and it makes it kind of unfun. And I remember somebody was like, "Yeah, this is a PS2 game." Is essentially what one person said. Other people were just like, "This isn't really good right now," and it's not. I respect Ico and Shadow of the Colossus, and that a lot of people love them, but this game is not going to do well. Adam, you got any opinions on this?
At this point, no. Like I said, I was never super interested in The Last Guardian in the first place, and yeah, this just makes it more so. I mean, best I can hope for the people who've been waiting 9 years for this, that this push, it really is going to make it into a game that they deserve to play. Yeah. So I hope for your sakes, people who are really excited about this, that this is going to be a much needed delay, and that good work will come out of it.
Yep. I always say delays are a good thing, and that there's a reason why they get delayed, but in this case, it's just like, maybe just go ahead and throw it out to the wolves.
Yeah, it seems like this this whole production on The Last Guardian has really gone south. And speaking of other things that have gone south, the city of South Park.
Oh, that's segue.
Well done.
Sorry, Jordan.
No.
Anyways, South Park, The Fractured Butthole, has been delayed until 2017. South Park: The Fractured Butthole will now launch in Q1 of 2017 instead of the originally planned December 6, 2016 release date Ubisoft announced today. A post on the official Ubisoft blog explains that the delay is being done because the development team wants to make sure the game experience meets the high expectations of fans, and the additional time will help them achieve this goal. No exact new release dates have been given for the game's launch on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. I guess this doesn't entirely shock me because everything is getting delayed this year. But I'm willing to be patient here. I know the South Park boys have been really meticulous about the level of quality they put out. That was the case with the first game. And did either of you guys play the original South Park game?
No, but I heard that I should have.
I watched a lot of it.
It was fantastic. I mean, it was really like a really strong product, and it was something that really was like a love letter to anybody who was a fan of South Park. And this one looks even better, and I have no reason to believe that they're not going to deliver anything but a top-notch product. And so if they need a couple more months to make this happen, take your time.
Yep, this is a good delay. This is not a The Last Guardian delay or a Duke Nukem Forever delay. Yeah, the first one was like watching an episode of South Park, and I like the series, so it was enjoyable. I probably would have enjoyed it if I had played it. I didn't really want to, but it was just like, this is something I can sit down and watch for hours. So yeah, I'm excited for the next one to come out because I know a lot of the people I follow on Twitch are going to be playing it, and I'll enjoy watching it.
Yeah, this one kind of the Stick of Truth kind of fell under one of the curses of my loss of the PlayStation 3 back in the day. So like it was one that I missed because I didn't have the generation when I wanted to play it. But no, I'm interested in seeing how this one turns out. And if I remember correctly, the Stick of Truth had kind of a tortured development process. It went through it went through a while of there was a developer that was working on it that stopped working on it, got handed off to someone else, if I remember correctly. So they definitely know how to recover from a bad situation. Not necessarily that this is the case in this one, but I definitely trust them to come up with a good product on the release date.
Now, off the cuff, Jordan, just worth mentioning, like normally I would very rarely shill the concept of pre-ordering something, but with this new South Park game, many places, including the PlayStation Store as well as Amazon, do have a pre-order deal where if you pre-order the new game, they will give you the original game compatible for PlayStation 4.
Oh, really? That's cool.
That's actually a really good deal. See, that's one of those pre-order bonuses I could get behind.
Yep.
Especially for somebody like you who maybe missed the boat on the first one. If you were wanting to catch up, this is a good way to do it.
That'd be cool.
Now,
I might do that.
Out of curiosity, do you know if they give it to you when the game releases, or is it like, do they give it to you once you pre-order?
Actually, I've kind of heard it both ways. I just put a pre-order in through Amazon, and so I just basically got told like you'll get it when the game releases. Okay. I've heard from reports people who bought it through the PlayStation Store were like charged full price for it up front, but they were also given their code right away.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's how PlayStation. I don't like that. That's how PlayStation Store works, but I guess they want to make it easier on themselves.
With that system, that makes sense. I mean, like you don't want to give somebody like the pre-order bonus and then have them just cancel the pre-order.
Right.
Oh well, yeah. Like I do that. I'll be honest. I do that with Amazon. Like if there's I forget. Oh, The Division. That's what I was doing that with, where like you could just pre-order it and then cancel it because they don't charge you. But I mean, like I understand not giving someone the pre-order bonus though. I meant specifically just how PlayStation charges you the full price already, and then you have no chance to like go back on it if you don't want it. So like not like once the game comes out you won't return it, but like if before it comes out you can't take back your pre-order, which is kind of silly to me. I don't really like pre-ordering on PlayStation because of that, but unless it's like something I know I'm going to play, like Rise of Iron. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah. But you know what is here and there? No Man's Sky is a lot of here and there.
Shuhei Yoshida, president of Sony's Worldwide Studios, offered criticism towards No Man's Sky's marketing campaign when he recently caught up with Eurogamer at the Tokyo Game Show. After several fans demanded refunds and expressed disappointments in No Man's Sky's final product, Yoshida told the publication that he too felt it didn't meet expectations. Since its release in early August, disgruntled fans have complained that the final release of No Man's Sky lacked features that Hello Games' Sean Murray had said would be included, such as multiplayer and other functions. Yoshida told Eurogamer that, quote, I had the opportunity to play the game right before launch, and I restarted playing the game on launch day with the day one patch, so I could see the struggle for the developers to get the game out in the state that they wanted, end quote. Yoshida nonetheless mentions that he really enjoyed playing the game, but he understood and sympathized with fans that felt the experience was under par. Quote, I understand some of the criticisms, especially Sean Murray is getting, because he sounded like he was promising more features in the game from day one, end quote. He says that the PR strategy wasn't its best, but that could relate to how Hello Games is a small indie team. Quote, it wasn't a great PR strategy because Sean Murray didn't have a PR person helping him. And in the end, he is an indie developer, but he says their plan is to continue to develop No Man's Sky's features and such, and I'm looking forward to continuing to play the game, end quote. As for whether it harmed the PlayStation brand or not, Yoshida says that he personally doesn't think so, and that he is nonetheless proud that the game has released and the fans can enjoy it on both PS4 and PC.
Wait, did you guys hear that? Oh, that was the sound of Sean Murray going under the bus.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
had
a
a
little
gentle
bit.
thunk just now?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you can go back and forth on this as much as you want. Like, saying that they're a small developer isn't really giving them, like, it gives them an excuse, but, like, not necessarily a legitimate one. That, you know, the game is still, like, in my opinion, a good game. But that maybe there were things that were said that were not completely true, or that they were said earlier in the development process and had to be, you know, just totally scrapped because either the game was becoming too large or too ambitious right before release, whatever the case may be. There's a lot of things that go into this. I'm of the belief that I made an investment by buying No Man's Sky, and I enjoyed my experience with it so far. I think that eventually it will have some more features that will get me to dive back in deeper. I'm going to come back to it every once in a while, just as, you know, kind of a relaxing experience. But other than that, yeah, if you bought the game thinking you're going to get certain things, you probably should have paid a little closer attention.
Maybe. Well, it's I kind of understand. This story's kind of dirty. Just like, I love Shuhei Yoshida, but it's just like you shouldn't have thrown him under the bus like that. And also, it's kind of like, I believe Sony was handling the PR, because like apparently there's an interview where Sony PR representative stopped Sean Murray mid-interview because when he was asked the question about if they would ever see the game on Xbox, he gave an answer that wasn't very Sony. Super Sony, I guess. I think he like facilitated the idea, and he didn't say no, so Sony like had him move on and shift the conversation. So it's like, you all were kind of handling that, and you decided to put him in front of the limelight, and you had to see how nervous he was, especially in that first E3 appearance, where he's like, you know, his voice was shaking, and he's clearly just like out of his element. And it's like, that's fine, but I guess also then a little blame falls on Sean Murray and Hello Games, because they've gone silent and have not said anything for like a month. And I don't know, I feel like communication, one of my biggest things in life pretty much is communication. It's like, if you're not telling the gamers anything at all, then you're definitely not going to look good. It's better to tell them something.
It's like, remember, like, in the movie The Lion King, right at the beginning, where like they have baby Simba and like Sony's Rafiki holding up baby Simba, except then after presenting it to the world in a very fluid motion, then throws it right under the bus.
Kinda.
I don't know if it's not quite throwing him under the bus. I mean, like, he's definitely like not singing his praises, but he's giving them some of the benefit of the doubt here and there. Like, I can see the struggle of the developers to get the game out in the state that they wanted. Like, that's fair. And I mean, he is saying like, oh, well, they kind of were handling the PR and blah blah blah, which is not necessarily, it's not completely true. But to say that Shuhei's completely throwing him under the bus, I don't know that that's necessarily fair either.
Well, he's definitely, if he's not throwing him on the bus, he's throwing him under like at least one of the wheels.
Maybe one of the arms is like under the bus.
I just want to see like what, because this was like not burning, but it was kind of scathing, and I kind of want to see like what their relationship turns into now that that this has happened, just because it's like, if I were Sean Murray, who has developed what 3 games in total. He's working in a small studio. They pulled off something actually amazing, but it just wasn't what people wanted. If I were him and I heard this, I'd be like, I don't think I want my next game to be on Sony's platform. I mean, I know they gave them a lot of money, so it's kind of like, it's an awkward place to be.
Yeah, I can't. It comes back to the fact that I just think that had Sony not pulled them into the big dance with E3 and all that, that this game would have come out. It would have probably been maybe $30 to $40, and it would have had a really maybe a smaller but like a very loyal following for what the game is.
Yeah. Especially for $30 or 30 or 40, I think a lot of people would have been more accepting, because cash rules everything around me. Not me, but cash makes the world go round. And if someone pays less for something, they're probably gonna be a lot less disappointed if it's not as good. So, or not what they expected per se.
When the hype started blowing up around this game, I was really surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's ambitious to say the least, but like it just got totally blown out of the water. And like I think some of Hello Games' silence on this now is probably for the best. And it's probably under advisement from Sony PR that just basically don't say anything, just go away for a while, people will forget, and do something else. Or, come up with whatever you're going to come up with to
fix it,
improve the game.
Could be.
And then they did this.
Yeah, go away. Just be quiet. Just sit in the corner. We got this. Yeah, those guys suck. But yeah, it's a rough situation. We'll see how it pans out. Hopefully, it doesn't become like a Kojima Konami thing where it's just like bad blood and everybody dies and people are sad, I guess.
Yeah.
But something that isn't bad blood. Oh, speaking of Kojima, that's a better segue. So. Kojima has confirmed what kind of game Death Stranding actually is in an interview, maybe, with someone that is covered somewhere. Anyway, Kojima is going... Kojima confirms Death Stranding is an open-world action game. He's going... I need to get ready to read. Is going big for his first post-Konami game. At Sony's pre-TGS conference, he took the stage to reveal more about his mysterious project, Death Stranding. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and do this since this is a perfect moment. There we go.
Death Stranding. Leave it up to.
Well, there's other things. There's other things that occupy that space now.
Oh, okay.
Death Stranding will be an open-world action game with online components. He says the open world will have a degree of freedom and focus on strong story elements. Kojima isn't ready to reveal what this will entail, but talked about wanting to connect players all by a rope or strand element, as is the theme of his game. He wants story, game, and worldview all connected by a strand. Kojima also announced that an engine has been selected for the game, but he didn't say which, and that the game will accommodate 4K and HDR, of course, to give the player the most vivid images. Before peeling off the stage, Kojima stated one last time his goal with his new studio, Kojima Productions, that he wants to prove that an indie studio can create AAA world-class masterpieces. Time will tell how this pans out. Yeah. So that he gave a little bit more information. At least he didn't just sit on stage and say, "Hey, this is going to be cool," like he did a few other times. And a bit of extra news to add on to that is that on his Twitter, he announced the release date will be before the Tokyo Olympics, which are going to be in 2020, and the new Akira movie, the live action one, which no one knows when that's going to come out. So,
promising.
Before then, which will be, sometime.
At least the 2020 Olympics. We have a date on that. 2020. And that's one of those dates I saw in sci-fi videos or movies when I was a kid. December 21st, 2020. And I was like, that's so far off. I'll never live to see 2020 because I have no concept of time and age. And Jesus Christ, that's almost 2020. Oh, God.
Do you think they'll have naked Norman Reedus for like the Tokyo opening ceremonies?
I hope not. That'd be awkward.
Like they'll do like a live recreation of like the Death Stranding teaser.
I don't think that's possible, Adam. I think there's some elements in that teaser that you can't do.
You just throw a bunch of crabs on the ground, naked Norman Reedus. This.
And someone's just going to give him a baby.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
So what they say is going to be an open world. Like, at this point, he hasn't explained anything more about it, so I'm literally just imagining, like, sprawling landscapes. You're running around as, like, naked Norman Reedus holding the baby the entire time.
With online components.
Okay, so
with
other
naked
Norman Reeduses.
all connected by ropes.
Yeah, that sounds like an awful game type.
Now, I am a little concerned about this game's development. There was no mention of sticks, just the ropes. So it's like they've only got like half of the concept down so far.
Oh, I see. Well, I'm sure he'll figure it out one way or another.
But no, there's something else of note that I feel needs to be cleared up just a little bit. Like, he mentions that he wants to prove that an indie studio can create like AAA world-class masterpieces. Right? Like, there are already indie studios that are doing that.
Right.
Yeah, it's also kind of like, I know he's technically indie, but I feel like when you have a name as big as Kojima's attached to you, you can't be indie anymore. You saying that you're indie is you being the biggest dick in the room. It's like you're standing next to the people that made like Shovel Knight. You're like, yeah, we're a little indie studio, and they're just like, what?
Yeah, on paper they're indie, but
yeah,
absolutely not by reputation.
No. Because, anyone who has half a brain would be like, hey, we're a little indie studio. Oh, okay, that's cool. We're run by Kojima. Oh, okay, how much money do you need? We'll help you out. It's like, you're not indie. Oh, man.
Well, I mean, right out of the gate, like, they've already got a PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah.
Like, that alone already tells you that, they get some special passes.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you think he's blowing anybody mind with that sentence? Was it like, did anybody not think this was going to be a AAA game from like the second you knew that he was attached to it?
They showed a quick teaser trailer of it, and it looked really nice.
Yeah.
And you knew nothing about it, which meant that this game is going to get a ridiculous amount of hype and funding long before it comes out.
Yeah, like Sony's going to literally make it rain on make it rain on Kojima.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Freaking whatever the dude's name, they're like their mascot. He's just going to be walking.
Luden?
Yeah, Luden. He'll just be walking through a field of money.
I really hope that thing never comes into anything ever. I just want it to go away. I just want it to be the logo and to disappear.
Why?
I don't like it. I don't like that they have like a mascot.
What? I mean, studios have mascots. Some of them do.
Yeah, but like they're gonna have it like they're gonna start parading it around like it's a football mascot.
Jordan's the dude who punches Mickey Mouse at Disneyland.
Yeah, that's me. And I take the head off and I'm like, you still smiling in there?
I may or may not have party boyed Mickey Mouse at Disneyland once. And I may or may not have been chased by security guards at Disneyland once. And I may or may not have gotten away thanks to the grace of band nerds. But that's not a story for this. Those are all not. I lost track of the knots, but.
So, Myles got nasty with a Mickey Mouse.
I did not get nasty.
That's what I'm getting from this.
That is the worst way to say that ever. But I did party boy Mickey Mouse. I did get chased by security. And I did get away.
Myles removed multiple articles of clothing and danced around with Mickey Mouse.
So, speaking of clothing and being able to change your clothing in the game, Zelda release date potentially leaked.
Yes. The source code for Nintendo's European websites has possibly revealed the release date of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild's amiibo figures. According to the date in several Nintendo Europe sites, as originally spotted on Reddit, the 3 Breath of the Wild amiibos are labeled in code with a release date of March 4th, 2017. IGN confirmed the appearances of this date in the site's source code and on the UK and French websites, as seen in the image below. While this could signal a release date for the 3 amiibo figures, Archer Link, Rider Link, and a Guardian, the date could also implicate some other major release dates or windows. The individual pages for each figure currently only list their release date as 2017. Breath of the Wild is set to release on Nintendo NX, which Nintendo has previously said will launch in March 2017. which would put these amiibos and possibly Breath of the Wild within the launch window. Nintendo has not confirmed or announced any specific release date for either the game or system, though. Nintendo amiibo figures often can have a release before or after the release of a game with which they are associated. So this date this date, if correct for the amiibo launch, may not indicate the release date of the game or upcoming system. Breath of the Wild was delayed earlier this year, at which time it was also announced the game would be coming to NX as well as Wii U. So Zelda March 27th. I mean, I think that's a pretty good guess.
You know, go ahead.
I was going to say it would very much keep in line with the Nintendo Wii, because, as we remember, Twilight Princess was much delayed, and then was pretty much became a launch title day one for the Wii as well for GameCube. I would expect that I would expect that Breath of the Wild will be a launch title for the NX. I really think that's going to happen.
No, it'd be really nice.
Fair guess.
It'd be really nice if we knew what the freaking NX was. That's all I'm taking from this story.
I read something I almost swapped out for this, but it was not substantive enough for me to want to read it. But there was something that went up on a website called My Nintendo News that said that there was some hubbub that the reveal might be coming next week.
That'd be great. I don't even like really like Nintendo anymore, and I just want to know what this thing is because I want to know if I'm gonna need to throw my money back at them again or not.
I have to assume it's gonna be real soon. I mean, really, they're running out of runway here to launch this thing.
It's like, who are you running the clock out against? Microsoft announced the Scorpio. That's out there. Frickin' PlayStation just, threw the Neo out at our feet and was just like, go ahead and kick that. That's not going to be worth it. So it's like, what are you waiting for at this point? That's my opinion.
I got nothing else to say about this.
Okay.
I mean, you guys have pretty much hit the nail on the head. I think, this thing needs to come out, and I think it's pretty clear this is going to be an NX release game. So, let's see it when it happens.
It's going to be the killer app that they need to make people get an NX, I think.
Probably. I mean, freaking Zelda sells blockbusters. Sells the actual blockbusters.
It's also coming out on Wii U, so is it absolutely necessary? They're going to have to really sell that, the NX is an improvement over the Wii U in order to...
You're right. The 5 people who have the Wii U won't need to get an NX to play it.
I mean, that's their core fan base. The people who have a Wii U is their core fan base. The people who went out and bought Wii U's are Nintendo fans, pretty much through and through. And those are the... No?
I mean, yes, those are that's some of that install base, but I feel like that's also a lot of the people who thought who played the Wii, because the Wii is the one that hit with everybody and the grandmothers.
Sure.
So I feel like Wii U, a lot of Wii U purchasers are probably people who are like, oh, it's the Wii, but it has a little TV pad. I'm gonna buy it for my niece and nephew, and they'll love it and not hate it because they actually know what a video game is.
I'm sure there are cases like that, but I gotta believe that the majority of people who bought the Wii U, the Wii U would have sold a lot better if that many people had bought it. The same amount of people who bought the Wii U.
True.
But I guess you say the same thing about the Wii and the I guess maybe that's not a solid comparison. But I was going to say that they released Twilight Princess on GameCube, but that didn't stop the Wii from selling a gazillion units.
Also, I'm kind of thinking the people that are gamers that bought the Wii U. I have one of my friends is the staunchest Nintendo fan I've ever met. Usually when I see him, it's me, him, and one of our other friends. And I admit, me and the other friend will we will dog the Wii U so bad in front of him. And for years he would defend it. He would die on that hill 10 times in one conversation. And as of recently, he's just nah, they messed up, man. It's not good. I'm just thank you for finally admitting it. It's sad that it took you this long, but yeah.
But he owns one. That's the thing, right? He owns one.
But the point is that if even he is this is a bad console, I think he's chomping at the bit to get something that's good. So I feel like the NX, honestly, don't make it a Wii U, and I think they're pretty much golden.
That's fair.
Mhm.
And then like anyone who's actually a video game fan who actually knows what a good console feels like is gonna be like, yeah, I'll pick that up, especially if it has Zelda on it. I don't want to play it on this piece of crap. I know some people do like a Wii U, but I'm just giving my personal opinion because I don't like the Wii U, and my friend's opinion who seems to be lukewarm on it at this point, at worst or at best. But you know what else is lukewarm because it might be killing a franchise that is very beloved?
Konami recently released its first gameplay footage for Metal Gear Survive at TGS, and the consensus around the internet about it, per usual, is usually negative. But the internet wasn't the only one to weigh in. Series creator Hideo Kojima and artist Yoji Shinkawa also provided their thoughts. When Kojima was asked by a fan if Survive was originally an idea of his, Kojima said the following: "That is incorrect. I'm not involved at all, and I don't know anything about it. Personally speaking, Metal Gear Solid is espionage to me, political fiction. I don't think zombies would appear in such a world." Shinkawa, on the other hand, took a more jocular approach, saying, "I never heard anything about that from Kojima. Personally, I consider Metal Gears to be bipedal weapons. I wonder if they'll appear. If they'll appear. A Metal Gear without Metal Gear? That's the Famicom version, lol." Metal Gear Survive will release sometime next year for Xbox One, PS4, blah blah. So I'm kind of surprised that he commented on it. I mean, if somebody asked him a question like up front, like that's one thing. But like, it seems that he's been very careful to be quiet about anything that Konami's doing, and I don't think he's really been commenting on Metal Gear since he left. So this is like one of the first times that we're hearing him say something. So, his restraining order must not be too strict.
Or he doesn't care.
Maybe.
I'm gonna throw a little shade at Kojima and call a little BS. That particularly that part where like, well, I don't think zombies would fit into my Metal Gear universe. Yep. You know how much weird shit's in your Metal Gear universe? I don't think you get to say anything doesn't fit in there.
Yeah, that's accurate.
You have a vampire.
And there are right. There are kind of zombies in Metal Gear Solid 5 too. They're not exactly zombies, but they're getting pretty close.
Mm.
That it is kind of weird. But hey, if this wasn't his idea for the direction of the franchise, then that's fair.
Yeah, I kind of like to imagine when he's like, yeah, I have no idea what that is. I had nothing to do with that. He's just sitting there with his hands up, just like, no, I didn't kill the series for you. That wasn't me. I had nothing to do with this. This is my baby. I don't want to see it die like this, but they're murdering it.
I've tried leaving the series like 5 times already. Like, this could have happened years ago, you guys. It really could have.
Yeah, well, I feel like, honestly, it looks like it could... I still feel like if it just didn't have the Metal Gear on it, people would be fine with it.
Sure.
Like,
and that's...
Go ahead.
That's what I've been saying, basically, about the game, like, since it was teased, is that it just feels like it wasn't meant to be a Metal Gear game, that they were developing something else, and they were just like, well, we'll just make it the new Metal Gear game.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it's not in the actual Metal Gear universe. That's a really stupid way to, like, pacify people, but it's not technically... It is in the Metal Gear universe, but they're in another universe, so it's kind of like...
Right, they're literally in a different universe.
Yeah, so it's like, this might not completely mess up everything, and there is, like, that sound of a Metal Gear roaring at the end of the first trailer, so... I guess there'll be a zombie Metal Gear that comes out. It'll be like a zombie Rex with the top half of it cut off, and it'll just be like, I have a little glowing spike thing, because that's what zombies have in this universe.
So since I kind of made the Reedus Feetus Quote of the show, like, relate to the story, it's from a Time interview that Kojima did with Time in 2014. So the quote goes like this. There are so many games where you fight aliens or zombies, and they have very high fidelity graphics, but they don't ask the question of why the events are happening. In Metal Gear, I'm trying to get at why all of these violent things happen in the first place. My intention is to get the player to question why these things are happening. And so that's kind of... I feel like what Konami's biggest struggle is going to be with this game moving forward in the franchise is that although there's like stupid ass shit that goes on in all the Metal Gear games, like there are just like ridiculous like super powered people and stuff like that. Like they all had backstories and they all like kind of have justification for why they end up the way that they are. Like they need to totally justify why there are zombies. And if it's just because they end up in some alternate universe, that's not going to cut it. That's not what the series is about.
Well, to be fair, we know absolutely nothing about it at this point beyond that people feel it's a bastardization of their favorite franchise. It's Konami floundering essentially, and that it has zombies and is a little weird. For all we know, they could actually be putting some work into this, and there could actually be a reason other than like, well, we went to another universe, and this one happens to have glowing spike head zombies. So, I mean, once we know like the story and everything, and if it's still bad, then yeah, it's just bad. But I don't know. I'm not a Metal Gear fan, so like I can have an inkling of hope for this without feeling like dirty over it. And I don't plan on playing it, but I'm still just like, maybe it's not as bad as everyone thinks it's gonna be. Maybe. Plus, what if they like absolutely blow everyone out of the water, and whoever they bring in to work on the actual story is like, I completely love and respect Kojima, but I also understand that he's absolutely insane, and I'm gonna make all this make sense in a way that people actually understand. And everyone's like, they play it and they're like, I want to hate it, but this is the best Metal Gear game I've ever played.
I think if not for all the terrible press it's been getting, I think it would happen if not for that. I think that people's impression of it is already incredibly negative, and that any possibility of this game having like a wide success rate is pretty limited.
I don't necessarily mean it gets a bunch of sales. I mean like the people that do play it that like were like Metal Gear fans that are morbidly curious and they play it and they're just like, oh man, the hate was completely, unfounded. This is actually really good. This is actually like, I love this. I want to see that happen, I'll be honest.
I doubt it's going to happen, not like in a negative, pissy way, but I just don't think it's going to be that type of game. I mean, it's co-op focused, so I don't think it's going to be like a heavily narrative-driven Metal Gear style of game. It could still be a good game, or a great game. I just think it's just going to be a different game than your standard Metal Gear Solid game.
Yeah, and I think they've already even officially said that it's not necessarily canon. So, like, it's they put it in this alternate universe just so that they can like play around and do crap, whatever they want, basically. This is their first outing on a Metal Gear game without Kojima, and I think they just kind of wanted to see how people were reacting to it. And it's not good.
Wheels. Yeah, so we'll see what it's like when it comes out. I don't want to not mention the stories that were on the list but didn't get read. Chris Metzen left Blizzard. I believe he made, I should have put more description in these titles. He is the gentleman behind Diablo, I believe. Known for his work scripting Warcraft, StarCraft, and Diablo. So he left and is just retiring. He's not moving on to do anything else right now. There we go. A thought-to-be-dead WoW game resurfaces, or Warcraft. I don't know if it was WoW. Canceled Blizzard point-and-click game Warcraft Adventures: Lord of the Clans leaked. It looks like that old Zelda video game that came out in like that one console that no one talks about. The well, excuse me, princess. That one.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. There's a bundle where you can get an Xbox One S and Battlefield 1. Platinum is working on a new game with an interesting, I don't know what I was supposed to put after interesting, but it's Granbull Fantasy Project Relink. Long title. Announced for PS4 and PSVR. That's a thing. Platinum has a lot of stuff on their plate, considering they have Nier, Scalebound, Now This, and Lost Order. So they're doing their thing, I guess. And last but not, there were Sony San Diego layoffs, and Monster Hunter Stories is changing the name of the game, which means it's not going to play exactly like Monster Hunter we're used to. You can find out more information on all those stories by going to Google. But, gentlemen, let's move on to the thought from nowhere that comes to us today from Chris, the Corn Man Doc Ruiner Cobb. Do you think Nintendo should give up on consoles and license their characters / franchises to Microsoft or Sony? I feel like if Sony had some kind of control over Pokemon, I would have seen a console Pokemon by now. And like, imagine if instead of working on, not to say that it was bad, I never played it, but I understand it for what I've seen of it and for what I understand people's opinions, it's really good. But oh my god, the one game that was like Pokemon that came out on PS3, it was you collected monsters, you like went into people's psyches. Ni no Kuni, yes. Imagine if that was like Pokemon. If like the people that had made that had access to the Pokemon franchise. That could have been really cool. I'm just saying. So yeah, it'd be interesting. I'm not gonna say it should happen, but it'd be interesting.
It's kind of tricky because I kind of like. Here's kind of my thoughts: is that yeah, their home consoles kind of have tanked a little bit, but they're still kicking ass with their portable consoles. And like I think it would be incredibly messy if they decided to go like, well, we're gonna like license out the rights to make home console versions of our games, but we still need to maintain the rights to make portable console versions of our games. It just seems like that would be a really messy situation. I almost want to wait and see because it feels like the NX is going to kind of bridge the gap where the home console will be the portable console.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to see how Nintendo does with NX, and then maybe see what lies ahead.
Yep.
Now,
if I'm being honest, I would say that even if NX doesn't do really well, which I don't know that it can not necessarily do worse than the Wii U at this point, but if it doesn't like kick ass or do moderately well, I could see Nintendo doing another piece of hardware, home hardware, to try it before going this route. I think that there's a lot of pride in that company, and that every time they release a new one, they think that this is the thing that's going to bring them back up. I will hold out hope for the NX until I know what it actually is. There's a lot of things that sound like it's going to be really, really good for Nintendo. It sounds like if they're going to be trying to make it more of like a handheld experience that can also double as home experience, that's really an interesting niche and could work. It also could totally bomb, especially if it starts conflicting with the 3DS.
Yeah.
So
I would have liked to have seen like if. Of course, I'm not going to say Microsoft because I'm a Sony person more than I'm a Microsoft person. I would have liked to have seen them kind of combine, and the PlayStation becomes the home console, and maybe PlayStation's like, yeah, we won't even bother making a Vita if like you all want to give us, let us have access to your franchises, but you all want to keep the like if that was the trade-off, or they're like, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna let go of the Vita. It's gonna hurt us so much to let go of this thing that we barely support. That Sony themselves barely support. I know they still have games coming out and everything. It's still a live handheld platform.
Tangentially.
Yeah, but Sony doesn't really support it. If Sony were like, we'll give up the Vita. We won't make any more. You give us your franchises. And they're like, yeah, we'll give up home consoles. You maybe like help us integrate the DS with the Vita. Like it has the power and beautiful or visuals of the Vita, but like kind of in a DS body kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I would have been happy with that because that would have been awesome. Because I don't care about mobile games. I would just play the Nintendo games on my PS4.
That's almost sounding like it'd be verging on like a merger of some sort, which I don't think would happen.
Oh no.
But definitely some sort of partnership where like I don't know that PlayStation is done with the handheld market. I think for the time being they're going to stay out of it, but I don't know that they'd ever give that up for some sort of deal with Nintendo, but there could be like some good trade-off with Nintendo if they decided to allow their games to be put on other consoles.
I think another thing people need to remember about Nintendo is, as much as you can point and say, haha, like the Wii U failed and whatnot, the thing is Nintendo's got a lot of money, and so they can sit for a while, and they can keep on doing what Nintendo does, regardless of success for quite a while.
Yeah, very true, very true. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't think those two companies could ever work together, considering that, you know,
Yeah, no, there's
Sony is a
a different
thing
history
because
there.
Nintendo kind of burned them, and they're like, well,
Yeah.
now we're gonna go do our own thing. We have our own ball in our own yard. Screw you. But yeah,
Yeah, like I said, I think Nintendo has a lot more pride than to kind of. It would almost seem like they were giving up if they did some sort of partnership or they let go of some sort of handle that they've held up for a long time.
true.
Surprise, merger's already happened. Death Stranding's actually a Mario game. Norman Reedus is Mario.
The Reedus Feetus is Mario. It's baby Mario.
So that makes him Yoshi. Like a really fleshy, kind of humanish Yoshi.
So where are the Yoshis?
Maybe.
Now I just want a really dark, brooding, like Kojima-led Mario game.
That
would be kind of amazing.
that sounds interesting and awful at the same time. But yeah, so I think we've given our answer to that topic. It'd be interesting, but it's probably never going to happen, or not going to happen anytime soon.
Too soon to tell.
Yeah.
Let's see what the NX is, and then maybe we can revisit this.
Yep.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
let's give the NX a chance to live before we start throwing it to the ground and burning it.
Yep.
So this is our closing segment, everyone. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out with us and watching it or listening, whatever you're doing, and giving us attention. We love attention. Give us all the attention. I don't know, that came out weird. Our schedule is recorded on Sunday afternoons at 3:30 my time and 12:30 their time, right? Yes, okay. And release it about an hour after the podcast isn't live anymore, so about 4:30 my time, or no, about 5:30 my time, about 2:30 their time. Math. You can email us your ideas for Thoughts of Nowhere or Thoughts from Nowhere and anything else you'd like to email us. Please keep it civil and like good and not like nudes or something rude. But you can email us at contact.mong@gmail.com. We check that email frequently and all that good stuff. You can find our Mong Twitter account, which is at mong.com. The dot is spelled out, and that's where you can follow us if you want to see if you want a notification whenever anything goes up on the site, whenever we go live on Twitch, whenever there's something that goes up on the YouTube page, on our Podbean, whatever. That's where you'll get notifications for everything and all that good stuff, and a random retweet usually every now and then, because I don't think, yeah. So that happens. You can find our rehashing. You can also find us on YouTube at Mong Network and Middle of Nowhere Gaming Plays. Mong Network is where you can find all our podcasts. That's Mong Podcast, Friendly Neighborhood Fanboys, all that good stuff. And Middle of Nowhere Gaming Plays is where you'll find Let's Plays if they've been recorded and tossed on YouTube, and that's stuff like PlayStation Plus You and Me. Yeah. Our Twitch channel, which is where you should be when we're live, is Mong Plays. Pretty easy to remember. Mong Plays. Twitch.tv/Mong Plays. We love to have an active chat, and it's always cool to look down and see people conversing and talking about the stuff we're talking about and all that good stuff. You can find us on Facebook, Tumblr, and Instagram. Just look up Middle of Nowhere Gaming or Mong. Check out our website, which is, of course, middleofnowheregaming.com. That's where everything goes up. If you want to keep up with anything that we're doing, you'll find information or just find it there. And not last but not least, whatever. You can find us on Patreon, and we really appreciate any support you give us, whether that is you watching, listening, and commenting, or giving donations to our Patreon. We really appreciate it. So yeah, just keep up whatever you're doing. We love you. We love our fans, and that helps us keep the site up and going, if you're wondering. So yeah, unfortunately, having a web domain is not free. Beyond that, if you're looking for us specifically, these three people in the camera in front of you, our Twitters are: I am Furious Milk.
I am fanboy_Adam.
And I am JL_Fleur.
There you go. And if you need to find out how to spell any of those, just go look at the YouTube video for all of 2 seconds, because they are always on screen. So, because one of us has a more difficult name than the others. But anyway, thank you. Yeah, it's Jordan. Anyway, thank you all so much for being with us and hanging out. We appreciate it, and we will see you next week.
Good day and good week.
Ropes and sticks.
was trying to see how long I could hold that. All right, have a good one, people.